Welcome back, fellow mobile gamers of YouTube. It is your host, NimbleThor here, and after playing hundreds of mobile games last year, it is yet again time for another quick breakdown of some of the best games I've found this week. Today, that includes a fun third-person strategic action RPG, by the way. So we'll get to that one later today, but first, let's have a look at this latest entry in the DEEMO franchise. DEEMO II is a beautiful semi-open world adventure rhythm game with an astonishingly high production quality, a mysterious story, and a unique side-scrolling universe that mixes 2D and 3D. The entire game takes place at a central train station, and the first play experience has us jump immediately into a song without any of those boring and long tutorial systems, so we can just learn how the different types of notes work through trial and error instead. And the gameplay is pretty straightforward, because yes, you guessed it, we have to tap the notes that fall from the top of the screen in traditional rhythm game style. But unlike most other games though, these notes are not positioned within any lines or rows, which makes the gameplay much more challenging, but also highly immersive. I think what most impressed me with the game though is the many NPCs to engage with, and as a very story-driven game, we can easily spend just as much time exploring the central station and just chatting with these 50+ NPCs as we do playing actual songs in the game. But the gameplay is all about playing songs, of course, and the actual tracks are mostly piano-focused acoustic songs with genres ranging from classical music to chill pop, jazz, and even a hint of electronic here and there. As we progress through the game, we unlock 30 of these songs for free, each of which has a numerical value indicating its difficulty, and they also all come with 3 different difficulty tiers. The progression speed is a bit slower than what I personally find ideal, because we are forced to sometimes replay older songs, potentially on a higher difficulty, to continue the story. Performance on some older devices also isn't great, and there is a tendency to run some phones hot, so just do be aware of that. DEEMO II monetizes through song packs that contain a total of 90 songs for a combined $70 and an expensive $20 battle pass. Now, you may also have heard about the game's energy system that has us earn less XP after playing 10 songs in a row, but we can always continue playing the songs we've already unlocked, so this isn't a normal, very limiting energy system. The game requires online access, takes up not 1, not 2, but a whopping 3 GB of space, and while the monetization is worse than in the predecessor, DEEMO II is great fun and still undoubtedly one of the most unique adventure rhythm games on mobile. And now for the game I hinted at in the intro of this video, because Heroes and Castles 2 is a unique strategic action RPG where we defend a medieval castle from waves of trolls, orcs, and undead using our hero and an army of units that fight alongside us. After starting a wave in this game, we rush out of the city gates to fight off the attackers and spend points to spawn units that counter the enemies. And while our own hero deals much more damage than these units do, the sheer number of enemies means we won't win unless we continuously spawn new units using these points that we automatically earn over time in the game. Some of what I really liked about this game is that all of our units have different strategic purposes. Combat feels highly dynamic, and we can even move to dodge incoming arrows since they aren't target locked, all of which creates a great combat experience and one that is also very unique on mobile. The only downside here is that the attack animations are very slow paced, which makes the combat feel a bit stiff at times. In between waves, we of course upgrade our units, we craft equipment, and we enhance our walls and hero using crystals, which is a currency that we earn somewhat slowly in this game, forcing us to make strategic decisions about what to focus on. Now, the danger with these types of game systems where we have to earn some sort of currency to grow stronger or progress in the game is that they can make the games far too grindy and way too difficult. But thankfully, in this game, we can switch the difficulty setting at any time throughout the game, and if we lose a wave, there's also a clever balancing system that kicks in that offers to have mercenary soldiers spawn for free to help us the next time. The game features a 30-wave campaign, multiple villages we can fight for the control over, and even real-time co-op and PvP modes to play with friends, either online or via Wi-Fi. I gotta say, the art style holds up surprisingly well for what's definitely not a brand new game anymore, but performance isn't always fluid, and I also occasionally experience lag on my device. But as a quick note here, the graphic and resolution settings might be able to solve that for you guys depending on what device you're playing on. Heroes and Castles 2 is a $2.99 premium game with in-app purchases to acquire crystals faster, but these in-app purchases aren't at all necessary to enjoy or even finish the game, but they do of course make it easier. You can play the game offline, it takes up 609 MB of space, and as one of the most unique mixes of action RPG and strategy gameplay, this is an easy recommendation. And now for one of the better roguelike RPG shooters I've played recently that I also briefly mentioned in my best games of 2021 video, hint if you haven't watched that yet, called Raspberry Mash. This is a dark pixel art roguelike featuring 5 dungeon floors full of gory combat against hordes of monsters and bosses. And the biggest difference between Raspberry Mash and other popular titles such as Soul Knight or Otherworld Legends is its unique combat system, because instead of having to repeat repeatedly spam an attack button like in most other roguelike RPGs, our character automatically targets and attacks nearby enemies when we don't move our character. But the catch here, of course, is that we can't stand still for long in this game because we have to manually take over to trigger abilities, run away from strong enemies, or dodge the insane number of bullets the bosses fire at us. This creates a gameplay experience that is fast-paced, yet feels slightly more relaxed than most twin-stick shooters, but just don't mistake this simplicity for a lack of challenge though, because Raspberry Mash is definitely a hardcore game. The game features some pretty crazy boss fights and lots of weapons, abilities, and combos that unlock over time, but the biggest downside is that although these dungeons are randomly generated, there isn't a lot of variety to them. Raspberry Mash monetizes through in-app purchases for a premium currency used to unlock random weapons that then have a chance of dropping during gameplay, incentivized ads for free premium currency, and an energy system that limits us to 5 runs before we have to pay or wait an hour. Now, I really don't appreciate energy systems, and I'm sure that many of you guys feel the same, but the reason why I still included Raspberry Mash is that each run is rather lengthy in this game, which means it can easily be played for extended periods of time despite the energy system, and the in-app purchases are never really necessary to enjoy the game. The game requires online access, takes up 349 MB of space, and although it's not on the same level as a game like Soul Knight, it's still a great pick up and play alternative that almost guarantees a fun experience for a few runs at least. I really feel like this was an awesome week of mobile gaming, but if I had to pick a favorite, I guess I'd have to go with Heroes and Castles 2, but all of these games are great in my opinion, so let me know what you thought about them in the comment section down below. Share your opinion. Have you found any awesome new games? Let me also hear about them down there, and then until next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around.